Hello and welcome back to Coating Gaming. We are here for episode number 10 of our Kerbal Space Program career mode series, and in today's episode we launch the second part of our CSP Mark 7 dual mission to orbit the moon and Mimbus. We launch with Jebediah here, as Valentina, the other pilot, is still in the orbit of the Mun, and Jebediah is now going to go to Minmus. So obviously Jebediah being the more experienced pilot, he's going to the celestial body furthest away. So let's just start by launching that. I didn't mean to do that because these are going to... Right, well, in that case, I'll be right back when I don't screw the pooch on that one. So Jebediah is ready and waiting to launch this part 2 of the CSP Mark 7 mission. He is going to the orbit of Minmus, as he is the most experienced pilot we have, and obviously Minmus is the furthest away. So we should be able to do he should be able to get the job done and start the ScanSat mission around Minmus. I will in this episode also be adjusting the ScanSat mission around Kerbin. I'm going to raise its orbit a little bit. It's currently on an orbit about 100,000. I think it needs to be about 150 for it actually to be working properly. So we'll adjust that when we get a chance. No. Right, let's just stability assist here for the time being. Obviously, I need to not incline my orbit when I'm trying to reach Minmus, as it has an inclined orbit of itself. Let's just try and get as relatively straight, relatively equatorial orbit as we possibly can. And there we go, we have attached those ones, hopefully they won't blow up. Stop. As we time warp up to 70,000 kilometers above the surface. Or 70, yep, here it goes. Boom. Now, has it been successful? Yes, relatively successful launch. So we'll just, circularize at our apoapsis. There we go. No need to be fancy today. 1,399 meters per second needed. We have 2,000 in this stage alone. We need to start burning pretty much instantly. There we go. We have started burning. We are starting to circularize. We're out of the atmosphere as well, so we will deploy the solar panels. Not going to cause any drag on us now, we're not in the atmosphere at all. So let's watch our orbit circularize, and we should be able to quite easily get to Minmus, as long as we have an equatorial orbit, because it will, at some point... there we go. At that point, the orbit of Minmus intersects with an equatorial orbit of Kerbin. So we don't need to worry too much about it. We are rapidly approaching circularization. Ready to cut the engines, and we will cut them roughly there. It's a little bit of a weird orbit there. It's not really circularized per se, But let's set Minmus as a target. And like I said, it intersects there. So let's add a maneuver. Oh, hello. Do we orbit it? Ooh. Let's view it as a target. Jesus Christ, we do, but that is a very, very big. Oh, why we need to come down a bit. 60,000. $200,000. Yeah, that'll do just about fine. So it's 900 meters per second. We do have to ditch this stage during this maneuver, but we should have more than enough in the next stage to complete this maneuver. As you can see on the white line here on the maneuver node indicator means that's when we run out of fuel. So we'll just time warp up to the maneuver node, which probably will be when we're on the dark side of Kerbin. And there's the moon in the distance there. No, we will be on the light side. Good. Right. Let's slow down the time warp, get back into position for this maneuver. Yeah, that's pretty much bang on. And let's kick it off. We're going to use this screen here, so we're going to focus on Minmus to make sure that when we get the encounter it's where we want it to be. Although we will have to ditch the stage. There we go. It might mean we have a little bit less thrust. We've got a lot less dry mass now, so hopefully that will take into account. Ooh. There we go. Right, we don't actually have an encounter as it is. Oh, there we go. Now we do. And, yep, there it is. That's the encounter there. We are coming at a slightly eccentric orbit. So we'll just warp until we get into the sphere of influence of a Minmus. And there we go. Kerbin goes off in the distance. And in a few days' time, we should meet Minmus. Wherever it is. There are some celestial bodies in the distance here. We haven't quite figured out what they are yet, but we will soon discover them. Here we go, rapidly approaching the intersects, and there we go. Right, now let's create a maneuver node at periapsis and drag it up. Nope, that's the wrong bloody way. It is the wrong way, right. And we want to slow down the orbit here. Oh, it's very... There we go. That's roughly the maneuver we want to make to circularize. So we will get into position. There we go. It is going to be a retrograde orbit anyway. Retrograde burn. No idea where Minmus is. Right, let's warp here-ish. Can we see it? Oh, there it is. There it is. Right, okay. Let's warp up again. We are rapidly approaching this maneuver node. Here it comes. And that's a circularize. Shouldn't be too hard to circularize here. Get ready to cut the engines. And there we go. 166 and 164. Pretty bloody good if I don't say so myself. So we will angle the ScanSat module facing towards the planet. We will deploy it. And Jebediah will be spending some time in orbit around Minmus. And there we go. He is scanning quite a lot of it because we are very high up compared to it. We are flying the other side of, or the opposite side. We're orbiting the opposite side of its rotation, which is a bit unusual. So that should get some data now if we go to Minmus. There we go. We've got some data from there as well. And any... Oh, we can find anomalies on here. So we are now searching for any scientific data that we can actually get. No, we need to be facing retrograde. Please, come on. There we go. So we continue to orbit around. It's very weird that we are spinning the opposite way, well, orbiting the opposite way of its actual rotation. But let's jump back and deal with the ScanSat module above Kerbin. So let's have a look at the tracking station. There we go. There's a lot of debris here. Well, I have no idea what that is. Right, we'll go to the ScanSat probe and we will fly this. Now we need to raise its orbit a bit. Right, do we actually have any... We do have fuel, yes. Right, so we'll activate the engine. We have a lot of fuel here. Bloody Nora. I remember why this was a pain to do. Right. So we will focus on Kerbin. At periapsis, we'll raise it slightly. Yeah, 230 will do. But we need to now warp to the maneuver node. We're going to raise it up a little bit because it's doing what it should be doing. If we look at Kerbin, it is scanning it, but only a little bit at a time. go. Should get a little bit more gimbal control once we are burning. Go a little bit. 210,000. It's very hard to keep. It's very hard to keep it controlled, seeing as I didn't put any like control surfaces on this. So if we now warp up to the apoapsis, and we'll circularize properly when we're up here. Alright, is our electric charge increasing? Have we got solar panels on it? We have got solar panels on it, yes. Right. There we go. Start burning this way again. And there we go. So now we should be scanning more of the surface. If we time up a bit here. Oh, there we go. Let's walk back down. 159 days this has been in orbit, so it should now give me a better Kerbal thing. I don't understand what's going on here. It needs to be eccentric a little bit, doesn't it? Right, let's add a maneuver node here, and can we get it to... That is what I sort of want. Well, that would be probably the best. 410. Right, we have got a lot of delta V. So let's warp back up to the periapsis. And let's change this, the eccentricity of the orbit here. No, hello. Come on, give me that. Nope. Right. This is always fun to do. Let's now incline this orbit a bit more. Come on. How about that? And now it should get a better picture. Do we need to incline it even more? So it's pretty much... Let's add that. Oh, no. Bloody hell, look at the apoapsis on this. 210. Right, so how about we go... Come on. No, it's not working. That is a very eccentric orbit, but it would mean... Right. Let's warp there. This would mean we would manage to properly scan Kerbin. So let's do this maneuver as well. Let's warp slightly faster up to this time warp thing. And we will get this underway. Stop the scan for the time being, put the module away. Hopefully it will mean we'll get a bit more control in this. As you can see, it's very hard to control. It's just having to keep tapping the directional buttons to keep it where we need it to be. Oh, no, right. What's the apoapsis on this looking like? Right. Ladder maneuver, just... Let's just get that a bit more circularized. That should be pretty much perfect. Oh, wrong way. Only a 50 meters per second burn here. That's as circularized as it is ever going to get. And we will start the scan again. So logically now, we'll get a better image of Kerbin, and we do. Can I have a look at the orbit overlay? So what you want to do, I'm guessing from this, is you want to have a polar orbit to do this, because then you will eventually scan everything. I suppose with this as well, you will eventually scan everything as well. But that's interesting. So we might have to switch this up as well. Let's switch to the Mun vessel. All right, here we are. Let's add a maneuver node. Oh, no, not set its target. Focus it there. Right, set a maneuver node here. And let's change this orbit slightly. Right, we don't want to... There we go. We don't want to change that, the height of the orbit. We just want to change the inclination. So let's warp up to this maneuver node, and we will change it so it's a bit more polar orbit rather than what we currently got. But obviously we've got to remember that the fuel isn't unlimited. So let's warp up here. Right. A couple seconds away from it. And we'll start the burn now. So it's going to change it rather drastically, but keep pretty much at the same height. There we go, periapsis 230, 230. Oh my god, that's brilliant actually. That is pretty much the most circular orbit you could possibly get. Right, so let's warp on around that and have a look at the ScanSat data. So yeah, it does need to be a lunar or a lunar orbit. So Kerbal is 62%, scan there. The Mun is 56%. Right. Okay, that's interesting. So we'll have to adjust that to be the to the orbit on the Minmus one as well, because I believe we are pretty much flat here. We are, yes. We'll adjust that I'll adjust that between episodes. But if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you click that like button, comment, and subscribe. If you do end up subscribing, make sure you click the notification bell to stay up to date with everything on the channel. But until next time, goodbye.